My greatest highlight of 2024 is finally finding out about 4B, what the 4B movement is. And now you're all going to know what it is, because if you don't know, it's going to brighten your day, ladies. So the 4B movement is a movement that's been going on, that's been created by the women in South Korea since 2019. I think 2019, which is insane that I just found out about it now. So what the 4B movement is it's named 4B because the 4 words in their language start with B. Somebody said that. I think that's true. But the women of South Korea have gotten so fed up with the misogyny, the sexism, the mistreatment of women, mothers, young girls, that they collectively decided they're not dating, they're not marrying, they're not having sex, and they're not having children with men. It is iconic. Iconic. And I believe there was another movement that I'm remembering, like in this moment, of maybe a Northern European country where the women were so upset that none of them went to work for like a few days, and like their economy was like collapsing. I have to do research on that. This is just kind of flying off of my head right now. But I think about that for us. Like, imagine we're 51% of our country's population in the United States. Imagine if all of us just stopped purchasing things for one day. Like we canceled our subscriptions. We didn't purchase anything on our credit cards, on our debit cards, or like a week. Imagine just all women didn't buy anything for a week. Like, the economy would literally dismantle itself. So essentially, the women of South Korea, standing on business, freaking inspiring.
So the thing that I'm constantly seeing on social media every day is people, men and women, saying that the 4B crashed, or it failed, or it's not working, or whatever. And I'm here to say, yes, it is. The only reason why this was a movement, I said this before, is because millions upon millions upon millions of women all around the world got on social media or whatever, and we realized that we were not the only ones going through a lot of the same stuff with males. Thus, it became a movement. Most of us were already 4Bing before there was even a name for it, right? So if this so-called movement failed tomorrow or whatever, according to you guys, these men will still be dry peeing out here. There's still going to be a male loneliness epidemic. It's going to get worse. The attacks on women and stuff is going to get worse. These laws that go against women's rights are going to get worse. And the reason why these things are happening is because all these women all over the world are closing up shop. And this is the part that y'all don't get. The 4B has worked, and it will continue to work for those of us who are in it and who support it. Typically, those of us who are literally in it, it's working for us. Now, let me count all the ways that it's working for us. We're not being cheated on. We're not being lied to and gaslit. We sleep like babies at night. The women who ever had dating apps, I never had one. But for those of the women with a half a brain even who had dating apps, they deleted them shits. You know what I'm saying? We're not dealing with all the woes and the BS that comes with dealing with males and their BS, right? We're not dealing with it, okay? You guys are the ones who still got women coming to you as a woman. We're not dealing with any of this stuff, right? We're living our best lives, taking trips, working, making our own money, creating our gardens and all type. We're living life, boo-boo, right? Especially those of us who are in the 4B who are child-free. Don't even get me started on the child-free lifestyle, okay? So, sorry, but it's working for those of us who want to be in it or who is in it. Those women who are not in it and who don't support it and who think it's stupid, the reason why you feel that way is because you're male-centered. You don't have a purpose in life outside of having a man. That's why you don't understand it. Like I said before, a lot of you would unalive yourselves. You would self-delete if you knew you couldn't have a man. A lot of y'all are still out here kissing frogs to get to princes that you're never going to get. So y'all are still in this BS, this pissy, poopy dating pool. We're not in this pool getting pissed on every day and going through dating app woes and, you know, finding things out about your man and your husband is having an affair and all that. We're not dealing with zero of these things. That's what y'all don't get. A lot of us were 4Bing before there was a name for it. And many of us are going to 4B. Long after you think it's dead, it's not. We're still going to be safe. The only thing we really have to worry about is because of the fact that most of us that are in the 4B, a lot of us are the women that these men actually want. They don't actually want you pick-me chicks because you guys are already mentally conquered, right? So they still want us, so they're still going to hit on us and harass us and all that stuff. So we still have to deal with that aspect of it. And we also have to deal with, we don't know if these men are going to trip out and go rogue, because we keep telling them no when they ask us for our phone numbers and then take us out on dates and stuff. So we still have to deal with that aspect. But outside of that, we don't have anything to worry about. So who is it not working for again? You? I wonder why.
Most husbands hate their wives. They do. I danced for 4 years. I stripped for 4 years. I danced from 2011 to 2015. I know everything there is to know about men, okay? I've never been naive to the bullshit. I found out male nature for what it was at 19 years old. Never been married before. Don't want to ever be married. Don't ever want to have children. I've just seen too much. I know men too much. My father has also been very honest with me about male nature, and just with him being honest just with his own lifestyle, and just how he operates as a man, and even the men that he surrounds himself around, how they operate. And one thing that I noticed at the strip club is that all the married men would trauma dump on me about their wives, how they weren't attracted to their wives anymore. A lot of them lose attraction for their wives after they have children. They start to feel very neglected after their wife has children, and a lot of them complained about how they their wives let themselves go. They're fat, they're overweight, they don't look as pretty anymore. They bicker a lot, they fight a lot, they nag a lot, they complain a lot. And I think that this is very important information for a lot of women to understand and know, because I just did a video about this, but too many women believe that because their husband hasn't left them, that their husband likes them. And that couldn't be any further than the truth. This is why most of the demographic of, men that are buying escorts and OnlyFans and stuff like that, most of them are married. Most of I always joke around and I always say, there's no man more single than a married man. And the reason why men that are married cheat so much is because they were sold a dream too. They were, through patriarchy, they were sold a dream too. And they were sold the dream that they were going to get all their needs met from one woman. They were going to get their emotional, their sexual, the domestic things taken care of. They were told that they just needed one woman to do that. And then they quickly realized that that's not the case. And we also have to realize that internally, men struggle a lot. Men don't know how to emotionally regulate on their own. They have to have a woman to help them feel comfortable to, emotionally regulate. And so men realize that the vessel can never be filled. The vessel is going to be, it's insatiable. It's insatiable, the need that they have for women and multiple women. And a lot of them don't like their wives. A lot of them don't. Most of them are just tolerating it. They're just tolerating their wife in a marriage because they still get some benefit. They do. They still get some benefit. And also a lot of men suffer from male character syndrome. A lot of them, they don't want to be the one to bite the bullet to get a divorce because they don't want to be seen as the bad guy. They rather just have the wife file for divorce and be the one that can just take the heat for breaking up the family. But that is one thing that stripping taught me about men, and that's one reason why I would never get married. If you really were to be a fly on the wall with men and their conversations about women and the conversations about their wives, a lot of women would change their tune on how they view marriage, because I can guarantee you that men aren't viewing it the same way as you. Men aren't, they're saying like, oh, I just fell in love with her and like that's the reason. No, like that's just their politically correct answer. That's just the answer that they have to give so that it will be palatable for people. But when the doors are closed, when the mics are off, when the cameras aren't rolling, and they're in a safe space, they're not saying that that's the reason why they even married the woman in the first place. It's it's because of something that they're benefiting from in some way, shape, or form. It has nothing to do with the actual woman herself. I'm going to make a series of these videos about telling you guys what the strip club has taught me about men, but this is the, second video technically of me explaining, you know, why and how I know so much about men, and that's the reason why I served men for literally 4 years. I know them very, very well.
Korean women have no idea what the 4B movement is, and we need to stop this misinformation.
Okay, so thank you to my friend Annie for making that video, because I am a Korean woman currently living in Korea and I have so much to say about this topic. So most of the 4B movement videos that I've seen on TikTok are made from foreigners, and I think Korean Americans or just Asian people living in the West, but not actually people living in Korea. So like I said, I live in Seoul. What I think is happening is the Western media likes to really pick up on these sensationalist, provocative topics and then makes it into an article, and then everyone on TikTok follows suit and makes videos about it. But let me tell you, I am 29, going to turn 30 this year, and literally all the conversations that I have with my friends around my age is about, oh my god, we're looking to get married, we need to find good partners, and we need to do this before it gets too late or we're just like aged out of their marriage market, you know? And I just made a YouTube video about this, Korea's population crisis, why nobody's getting married or having babies. But I also explained there are services in Korea like marriage matchmaking services where people go and you pay a broker and you submit all this information about yourself, your income, your assets, your family background, if you have any debt, like which university you went to, you submit all that information, and then they take that and then they will try to match you up with people who they think that you're on par with. So you know how you see in K-dramas how like the poor girl ends up marrying the richest CEO of Korea? Yeah, in reality that never happens. So people go to these marriage services and they're heavily used. There are literally so many in the country because everyone is using them. And so the 4B movement in Korea is a very, very small fraction of the whole Korean population in general. It's just the Western media likes to highlight that part and make it seem like it's the biggest issue in Korea, which it really is not. I can promise you that. Don't believe all those sensational articles written online all the time. Most people in Korea still like the other sex. We want to date, we want to find love, we want to get married. Those are like the big majority. And it's only the small group of extreme radical misandrists and extreme radical misogynists. They just seem like the loudest because the most attention goes to them. But yeah, I literally just dropped a YouTube video explaining about this whole thing. So go watch it, Anna Lee on YouTube.
So we already let the white women convince us to kick out the black fathers, and we didn't.
Oh, brother, girl, what the fuck is you talking about? What the white women got to do with black men making the decision to not be fathers? What do white women got to do with black men not making the decision to marry the same women they are laying down and procreating with? Nobody give a about these nuclear families, that these traditional nuclear families that y'all asses are continuously trying to promote under the guise of patriarchy society. Nobody gives a no more. And I also want to put out there, as a mental health practitioner, there is nothing unhealthy about somebody choosing to stay single just for their sake of their mental health. Actually, it's more unhealthy to choose to sit back and actually place your entire life around the fact of needing a man. That's more unhealthy than someone choosing to be alone for their own mental health sake. Women are not breeding grounds. Women are not born and bred for a man. And I'm glad women are waking the up and realizing that they mean more to this world than just being some that a man can beat the out you for, being a nigga's punching bag, being a nigga's breeding machine, being a nigga's secretary, being a nigga's psychologist for free, being their medical their medical doctor. Like, I can go on and on about the stress, the turmoil, and the abuse women have to face each and every day because of because a man exists. And aside from women, let's also talk about the children who are also in fear of their life because of man. Let's also talk about the animals, because we don't ever talk about animals either, that be in fear of men because just because of how abusive men are as a whole. So let's stop centering men in every thing because you want to be picked, and let's actually start caring about our mental health as a unit. Okay, because we need each other. And right now, continuously trying to push this narrative that women need men when all we need is our self at the end of the damn day, especially with inflation going on. Come on now, be for real.
So I'm not going to try to dissect or try to break down the 4B movement. I realistically don't care. Whatever it is that people want to do on their own time is whatever it is that they want to do. And like I said, more power to people, whatever. The main thing that I wanted to bring up was the fact of the black women that were there. Again, I can't speak for other races of women. Whatever's going on over there is whatever's going on over there. But their comments live have, in a sense, coincided with the comments that I've had on my platform underneath a video roughly 2 years ago, is what you can see. So in a lot of these comments, you will see quote unquote black women echoing the sentiments or sometimes the same things that you will hear some of the other black women on the video happen to harbor or state. And the main thing that I've tried to get through to a lot of people is that you have women out here who may have had bad experiences, right? Or may have had a what if experience. And they will decide to go into an echo chamber or an area online, and they will get together and make this one experience the overall experience for every single black woman. Now, the interesting thing about this is that over time, I've had people try to tell me like, hey, Seja, you shouldn't generalize you shouldn't speak to all black women or about all black women like this because you don't know yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, you know what? You are right. This is why I try to be transparent. And when I speak from my own experiences, I specifically state that woman, or I will say women like this, right? But for whatever reason, even though I will speak just like that, people will still take it as if I'm generalizing all black women or trying to speak negatively on all black women. And I'll specifically break it down like that so people will know, hey, I'm not generalizing all or everybody, but again, people will hear what it is that they specifically want to hear and find something to be mad about when there's nothing realistically to be mad about. It's just the simple fact that if a man speaks on his experiences with black women, then he's generalizing. He's being negative. He hates all black women. He hates his daughter. He hates himself. He hates the black woman that sacrificed during slavery. He hates his grandmother and all this other type of stuff that people always want to insert and bring up every time just to try to make some invisible point. And realistically, it's just not the case. Because as you've clearly heard the black women here express that they just have no interest, that they just do not like black men at all, that black men are the most criminal-minded, the most dangerous, they're the perpetrators, and right, pretty much when you listen to them, it will state that black men are 100% of everything negative, of everything wrong. That is not only what's wrong in the black community, but in society in general. But you also see that the same women won't have that same response or that same critique or that same negativity when it deals with men of other communities of which they preference or choose to date, even though stats are directly out there. And you'll also note that 9 times out of 10, that you'll also have a lot of women of other nationalities not getting online. And remember, women can freely get online. Nobody's stopping women realistically from getting online and saying whatever it is that they want to say, unless you're in China or some other type of dictatorship. But even when those women get online, and I've seen a lot of their videos, they're not out there just wholeheartedly just talking down upon the men of their community and wanting to erase them as a whole, thinking that society is going to be better for it. Because the funniest thing is, I've brought up the fact in a different video, which again, a lot of people choose not to look at, where I've brought up stats talking about female and female relationships and how it is that the DV or the IPV or the interpersonal violence that happens within those relationships are quite high. As a man, I imagine that when listening to women, that when women sit up there and tell you that they want to create a themyscira free of all men, free of man laws, man-made things and all this other type of stuff, that it will be a paradise, that you're not going to have any crime, you're not going to have any violence, you're not going to have anything that is negatively going to impact or harm women. But when I look at the stats, I'm like, somebody lied. To get online and to try to pipe up and state that black men are everything negative. But then when you take black men out of the equation and then you just insert another woman and you find that whatever you say is negative with black men is also negative with black women as well. So wouldn't that mean that we just have a community problem instead of just a black man problem? And this is the main thing that I try to state and hit home with a lot. But for whatever reason, people miss the point, doesn't get made, it gets muddled, or people just feel whatever it is that they want to feel. They'll listen to about 3 minutes and 18 or 3 minutes and 20 seconds of a video, come up with their synopsis, and that is it. They won't listen to the whole duration of the video to actually understand, to actually learn. Because a lot of people don't understand that they are being taught, that they are actually being misguided into a certain direction. Like I said before, if black women want in the United States, if black women want to wholeheartedly go for this 4B movement, have at it. I would not sit up there and stop you. I'm not going to say anything negative about it. I'm just going to solely focus on myself and whatever it is that I can do and how I can positively impact other people. That's what I would do. Like I said, whatever your business is going to be your business at the end of the day. So however it ends up in that 10 to 15 to 20 years is however it ends up. It's outside of my control. I have nothing to do with it. The same way that the Korean men, or I'm sorry, not even the Korean men, the Korean population is now dwindling down. They are now heading down into a negative. Like I said before, if black women in the United States would like to perform those exact same actions, by all means, go do it. You have my blessing. Go out there and be great. Do the stuff that you want to sit up there and do. The only thing that I'm simply stating is that if you are, in a sense, staying back and staying away from black men, you don't want anything to, do specifically with them, then the only thing I ask is to just stop speaking negatively. If your life is going as ideally and as great and as beautiful as you say it was going to be when you don't have black men there, so be it. That's cool. Glory to the winner. All I'm saying is that then means that you have no more reason to actually speak on negatively about black men because you have no further interactions. The real thing that you can speak on is your interactions with other people, just your job and just your personal life. That realistically should be the content. It shouldn't, in a sense, revolve around black men at all. Because again, the whole main thing that I've heard from a lot of women is to de-center men. De-center. Men are not the core. Men are not the sun. Men are not the center of the universe. So in place of that, you would then put yourself or a woman. And like I said, whatever it is that people want to believe, whatever it is that people want to do, so be it. The only thing that I'm simply stating is that somebody completely lied when they stated that if men are out of the equation when it deals with relationships, then violence, rape, or any other instance of unaliving will not or ever occur. But again, when I look up the stats, when it's black women with other black women, I read totally different. When I read the words of actual black women in these lesbian relationships and they're speaking on their accounts of being with other black women and how there is such jealousy, such envy, such hatred, such danger, such violence, such DV, I'm taken aback. Because again, this is something that for me was unexpected. Because you will never hear black women out there stating that, yes, this is who we are. This is what we do. We don't like ourselves. We don't love each other. We don't love ourselves. You will never hear black women out here stating that. It's always 100% the opposite. It's always we support black women. We love black women. We are with them. We walk with them. We stand for them. We uplift them. We respect them. We value them. We encourage them. It's always those things and never anything negative. Like I said, somebody is being sold half of a story. And it's not me. As a black man, it's not me that's being sold this half of a story and being made to believe that only one segment of the community is bad. I've never in my life ever believed that one segment of the community was just vastly horrible. That was never my case at all. I've always wrapped this around as a community problem. And I've specifically pointed out community things, such as, hey, black men, we need to tighten up and fix this, that, and the third. Hey, black women, this is the problem here. You guys need to get together and fix this, that, and the third. I've done that. I've even said that to the younger generation and even to the elders. But again, no matter how you speak or how you put it, black people don't want to listen. Black people always want to find something to be mad at. They always want to find a problem or an error or tell you, no, you need to focus over here, or you need to do this, or if you're given all these solutions, show us what you've actually done so we can follow that. There's always some type of moving the goalpost, skating around, beating around the bush, sweeping under the rug. There's always some type of other sleight of the hand movements that black people would do instead of actually taking some responsibility and accountability for the things that either they do that's happening around them, that they're a part of, or that is happening in the community. And we are clear-cut looking at people running from a situation of which they don't want to fix. That's it. That's it. And like I said before, just like I said this here, I've said the exact same thing when it dealt with black men in similar situations, in similar conversations. So I already know that if somebody even made it this far or whatnot or whatever, somebody's going to cut off the video, but that's all I need is to hear. You're not trying to put any responsibility on black men. You're putting everything on black women. You're trying to say it's all of our faults in it. I never said that. Never said that at all, champ. But like I said, you heard what it is that you wanted to hear. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that was stated verbally and everything that you can see directly from these comments from a different video of 2 years ago, which pretty much fit with the whole narrative of the video that I showed you guys. All right. Thanks.